A new poll shows that 53% of Americans say talking politics with someone they disagree with is stressful and frustrating. This is surprising. It means there are 47% who don't find talking politics with someone they disagree with to be stressful and frustrating. I don't believe it. Around this time, I usually do a monologue on how to reduce political tension at Thanksgiving dinner. It never helps. No one ever listens, and why should they? Taking advice from a TV host is like taking a ride from a stranger. It's risky, and you often end up dead. So instead of avoiding politics, let's go all in at Thanksgiving. But first, you must find the right way to insert it into dinner conversation. Here are some examples. Wow, these mashed potatoes are really hot. Almost as hot as our economy, which under President Trump grew at a 3 to 4% rate. Looks like we have more dinner rolls than people, much like jobs under Donald Trump, who helped create 4 million of them in just 2 years. So, Gramps, why don't you carve the turkey, just like President Trump carved our bloated bureaucracy when he cut 16 rules and regulations for everyone created, saving us $8 billion. Looks like we ran out of gravy, much like what happened to our doctors under Obamacare. Thank God Donald Trump repealed that mandate. Am I right, Grandma? I'm stuffed, much like the Supreme Court is, with 2 sterling appointments in Judges Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. Maybe the kids can clear the table, just like Trump cleared the country of MS-13. Honey, can you take out the trash? Just put it on the curb next to the Paris Climate Accords and that awful Iran treaty. Oh, I love some pumpkin pie. Doesn't the color remind you of Donald Trump's gorgeous hair? So that's it. If you can't avoid politics, why avoid politics? Instead, set the tone and the table with the truth. Because if you don't, someone else surely will. All right, I'm going to go to the people who have the conflicting Thanksgiving table routine. And Jesse, do your parents go hard on you for being an unpaid spokesman for Donald Trump?
Well, I'm paid.
I'm glad he said it. I was going to say it, but I'm glad.
Very funny. I actually thought that was a really good monologue.
Oh, thank
that was
you.
one of your better ones. I will say that... What? I wasn't being sarcastic. I thought it was a really good one. I would say the key to surviving my Thanksgiving is respecting your elders. Because, during the Bush years, I got a little cocky. Stocks were up, the surge worked. And my parents, are liberals, and my grandfather's a communist.
Oh, really?
So we're around the dinner table in, 2006 or 7, and I started quoting Limbaugh. And all of a sudden, grandfather slams his fist on the table and says, "You don't know what the hell you're talking about." Drooling, screaming. Whole table went quiet. Mom starts to clear. But he forgot he was angry. And so the next thing you know, he's like, "Hey, Jesse, pass the pumpkin cheesecake." But that's what's great about old people. They forget why they're angry. And you just have to learn, sometimes it's good to know, which bear not to poke.
You're right. Is he still with us, or?
God rest his soul.
Yes, because I was wondering if he was watching how he would feel.
If he was still here, he would not be watching the fight.
You have a communist granddad. All right, Juan. So you're the father to 2 Republicans and I believe 1 liberal. Am I right?
That's true.
Okay. So on Christmas, does the liberal get better gifts?
The liberal is my daughter. Yes,
I know.
I love my I don't.
No, then your sons.
No, I give them all great gifts.
Do you ever end up on teams around the dinner table with your 2 sons and you and your daughter teaming up against them politically?
One of the things that you missed in your monologue was a lot of people actually agree on things, even if they may be liberal or conservative. There's a lot that they agree on, like
like infrastructure.
No. How about like not insulting the guy who took out bin Laden? I say, how about trusting?
He had it coming.
Yeah, because what did Trump say? He was a Clinton supporter, right? A Clinton supporter. How about you not saying that you're CIA? Let's just ignore them. We have something better to do. We don't agree with your conclusions. Or maybe...
These are liberal talking points.
Yeah, that's right. At the dinner table, like you were saying, maybe you could say, a dinner table with Trump and Vladimir Putin and, was it Kim Jong-il, And you could say, I just believe everything they say. That's good with me. Whatever you guys say, just pass the turkey.
I think that it's impossible not to talk about politics. Not only that, I think everyone wants to talk about politics. The difference on Thanksgiving, especially if you're hosting, you have to set the rules.
Right.
And you have to let people know, don't take things personally. Like, it's okay if we disagree, and you can have a competition. And you can even keep score. You can have a yellow pad and a tally with different columns and hash marks, and whoever gets the best barbs in gets the biggest piece of pie. I don't have a problem with that at all, but you have to let people know not to take it personally. So when someone says something that you disagree with, don't react like it's a personal slight. And that's how we have to distance ourselves from politics in this country. It's not the only thing that defines us. And politics, as we all know, talking about it, it can be very passionate, but it can also be so much fun.
Yeah, you know, Dana, no one talks politics at your place because you're too busy telling them about Jasper.
Yeah,
so I figured
dogs are the great equalizer, actually. If you talk, you can always find common ground with people to talk about your pets and your love of pets. So if things get really bad and no one, like, you have that uncomfortable silence, you could bring up a dog. I'm actually very skilled at making sure that everyone realizes we all agree.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I'm very good at that.
You and Juan are saying the same thing. Now, one year, I had an experiment. I wanted to bring up the most uncomfortable topics that I possibly could.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, the two winners were, because it was 2003, O.J. Simpson, and my grandmother was very upset because a lot of people, there was a very heated conversation. Of course, this was before the big documentary. And the other was, what do you want your funeral to be like?
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so that makes politics actually, yeah, you found something that people will then revert
You can
back.
also ask people, like, what was their best vacation of the year? Like, and then you could talk about travel. Like, there's things to talk about.
What about if I was Jesse's grandfather and I said, these young people, they're so idiotic. They don't know anything.
You said that on my show last night.
Yeah, let's forget about it. We'll go with Jesse.
My solution, drink a lot of wine and play music really loud, and that is the solution, because then you can't hear anything.
That's perfect.
All right.